It's March 31st, 2023, and we are reporting on the first filing in the prosecution of former President Donald Trump. You may not have seen this yet. It's brand new, and it's formalized by a court document that lists this case for the first time, the people of the state of New York versus Donald J. Trump, defendant. What you see on your screen, and we've highlighted the key word there, is actually a first. For all of Mr. Trump's legal scuffles and civil cases, which end in payments, not prison, even if you lose, this is the first time he's been on the other side of the government. The people of the state of New York versus this criminal defendant. We have this new order from a judge. It marks the formal opening of this case file. It notes the indictment, which is called a true bill, you see that there, was returned by the grand jury. You can think of the words true bill as equivalent legally to indictment or charges, and under that piece of legal terminology or jargon, we learn that there is a true bill. There are charges. A judge authorizing the DA to publicly acknowledge that yesterday. So again, you see this. We got this today. It was formally filed in the court system yesterday. I'm going to explain to you why this is important, why I'm showing you this, but you see the date right at the top there, March 30th, 2023. This is new, this is formal, this is real. Now, this ruling was not technically public yesterday, but it was legally implied. We know that because a DA cannot legally discuss a sealed indictment without judicial approval. So as the DA contacted Trump's lawyers to arrange for his booking, which we've now been hearing about, and word appeared to informally sort of start leaking out, well, we can now see what the DA did, which is by the book. It's what you're supposed to do. The DA immediately asked the judge overseeing this new case for clearance, not to unseal the whole indictment, we don't have it yet, but for clearance to even confirm the mere fact, the single assertion that there was an indictment, that there was a true bill. And that news hit like a thunderclap across America and the world last night into today. The headlines, sometimes quite simple, like two words at the top of a edition of the New York Times that shall live in history, we are sure. Trump indicted. And here we are tonight. Do you remember where you were when you heard Trump was indicted? How you heard he was charged? Who and what you listened to next? Here's how some of this has played out.
Historic breaking news.
An unprecedented moment.
Manhattan grand jury voted to indict Donald J. Trump.
Monumental, historic importance.
Word, former President Donald Trump has been indicted.
Communist level.
Deep breath, everybody.
I believe that Donald right now is petrified.
He's calling the indictment, quote, political persecution.
Before tonight, presidents in this country were kings.
Too great an assault on our system, much greater than anything we saw on January 6th.
It will only get uglier from this moment on.
One more example of the criminalization of politics.
Give the president some money to fight this bullshit.
An unprecedented moment in American history. Every major newspaper around the country.
What was his reaction?
Initially shocked.
Almost certainly his defense attorneys are telling him to shut up.
This is a historic case, a monumental case, a case that will have wide-reaching ramifications.
The American legal system is being tested like never before.
And so today we woke up in a nation that does hold a former president accountable in criminal court, which is something that many began to wonder more and more about until this day, given Trump's many investigations, instances of exposed misconduct, and the real noticeable lack of charges anywhere. I showed you that New York Times headline, indicted. Others noted that this is a first. The unusual prospect of an American president going on trial has made the cover of newspapers you see here circled in various ways. This is to them foreign news and still quite a big front page story from Brazil to Ireland. Donald Trump's hometown paper went with a more jocular reference to a Queens man indicted, as if this were legal news about any other local resident or citizen. But under law, he is supposed to be accountable like any other citizen. Tonight, we also have updates on the case itself. Reports that the sealed indictment, we don't have it yet, could have about 30 charges. Reports that Trump, who's been mixing attack, denial, and sometimes delusion in his approach to this case, reports credible from some sources that he truly was caught off guard by the news. His lawyer has also said that. He is scheduled to fly to New York Monday to surrender at arraignment Tuesday with an afternoon hearing. And we have more about that process later in this hour. Ready or not, though, Trump's lawyers are out pushing back today. They're slamming what they believe is the theory of the case. The DA, they stress this will be a fight with no bargain in sight, no plea deal. And I'm going to play you just a bit of that, but to be clear on the context, it may seem standard for Trump to fight, but keep in mind, most defense lawyers do resolve charges with plea bargains. The majority of cases never go to trial.
Do you expect this to go to trial? Do you see any scenario in which you or the former president would take a plea deal?
Zero. First of all, I'm not taking a plea deal to anything, but President Trump will not take a plea deal in this case. It's not going to happen.
No plea deal means there are only two moves left. One, Trump's lawyers try to get a judge to toss this case. That is possible, and they have every right to try, but that doesn't usually work for felony charges. And two, if that fails, they go to trial. And then Donald Trump's future, his liberty, his freedom will turn not on his fame or on his PR tactics or his vaunted political standing among some on the right or his ability to pressure Republican politicians or any other tactics that we have heard sometimes serve him in business or politics or those past legal skirmishes which did not reach this point, which did not reach charges. No. If they don't get this thing dismissed and they go to trial, all of this will turn on how a jury of citizens assess the facts. One citizen judged by others. That's a bedrock of the U.S. justice system. It's the process that Donald Trump is now attacking. It's a process that's been applied without any great crisis, by the way, to Donald Trump's lawyer, convicted for a related 2016 crime in New York, to Donald Trump's chief financial officer, convicted in New York and currently incarcerated, to Donald Trump's chief 2016 campaign chair. And that's just naming some of the many Trump aides who have been down this road. So, tonight, I tell you, having absorbed this here over the course of about 24 hours, this apparent horror and surprise we've heard fulminating on the airwaves and elsewhere from Trump and some allies might have you think, did this come all out of the blue? Is this really new and strange and bad and it could lead to crises? And if you're a reasonable person and you hear something, you might assess it. So you might think for a second about what they're saying and you might give it some credence. People who don't follow all of this as closely might believe some of those things. But then you can take a moment of reflection or recent memory, which shows the convicted crimes have been piling up. I just showed you 3 top people. They're not junior employees. They're not volunteers. They were the people at the top of Trump's political, legal, and business operations. And they were all convicted on evidence, tried by juries. Legally, it's not really outlandish at this point to see how that trail of evidence and convicted crimes, several in New York, finally, after years, have reached Donald Trump himself, the boss, the client, the beneficiary of those convicted crimes, some of them. And I'm going to tell you this, too, whether you want to hear it or not, whether you like it or not. None of that means Donald Trump is tonight legally guilty. It means that some of the attacks are, as we say in court, total BS. But legally, and this is important, tonight he is presumed innocent. All the supposed shock, the umbrage, the surprise, that's hard to take seriously. But if this goes to trial, it will go, as I said, to a jury. And a fair trial shouldn't scare the innocent who have facts on their side. That's why Meek Mill famously said, "Locked me in a cell for all them nights, and I won't snap. When you bring my name up to the judge, just tell him facts." Of course, that's if the facts help. Meek also reflected on how a single trial can bring anyone down to size, noting, quote, "Another day in the Bing, I got to hang from a string. Judge banging that gavel turned to inmate from a king." Well, we don't have kings in America. Anyone can be put on trial. And in the days ahead, the U.S. must apply due process, rights, and presumed innocence for this defendant. Not anything else will suffice, but also no fear or favor by this prosecutor. Follow the facts wherever they lead, whether they lead to an exoneration of sorts by your peers, or whether they lead to an 8-foot-long prison cell.